My name is Chris Taylor. I'm the curator of crustaceans here at the Natural History Survey, and I just want to give you a brief 5-minute overview of crustaceans. When we first started talking about doing a TCN proposal, we like the idea of doing an invert net rather than an insect net to increase the diversity of the collections and try to capture some of the freshwater crustacean data that's in a handful of museums across the eastern U.S. So I'll just give you a brief overview of what we have here at the survey and a little bit of history. Just some numbers, basic stuff here. We're about a little over 12,000 lots of crustaceans, about 91,000 specimens. It's a little embarrassing putting these numbers up to a group of entomologists as far as diversity, but for freshwater crustaceans, I think we have a pretty good mix of things. We're probably, I can't say this with 100% confidence, but probably the second largest freshwater crustacean collection in the U.S. behind USNM, of course, which is quite a ways ahead of us or anybody else. How our collections are housed. The overwhelming majority of our collection are in jars of various sizes, 2, 8, 16-ounce jars. Of those 12,100 lots, 9,550 are in glass jars with polypropylene lids. 2,550 we have then the standard 3-gram insect vial racks. The majority of our collection are made up of really 3 major groups. The decapods, the freshwater decapods. My main interest is taxonomy and conservation of crayfishes. So an overwhelming majority of the collection are crayfishes. We do have some holdings of freshwater shrimps that occur here in North America, and then most of the vial material are amphipods and isopods that we picked up over the years by various collectors. Just a brief history here. As Brendan mentioned, Stephen A. Forbes, the first director of the Natural History Survey, was into all kinds of things, not just insects. He published the first Fishes of Illinois. He was into crustacea. This is one of his earliest publications, a list of Illinois crustacea, which came out in 1876. Unfortunately, most of the material that he uses in that publication is no longer extant. We just have a handful of that old stuff, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of how far back some of our collections go. Beyond this publication, we do have more stuff collected by Forbes and his colleagues in the late 18th century and into the early 19th century. This is kind of the early era here. Then we kind of move on and mirror what Brendan talked about for the insects. Got a long history of entomologists, as you all know, that have gone out collecting, and most collectors save not just their primary interest material, but anything else that comes up in the dip net. And so we've got some material from 1920s into the 1950s. Picture Herb Ross here. We do have a fair amount of stuff that he picked up. Like again, isopods, amphipods, things you pick up with aquatic leaf-frame nets. The next big step for us was Larry Page's comprehensive survey of Illinois crayfishes and shrimps, which was published in 1985. Probably 50 to 60% of our collection relates to this publication. And then finally, post-1993, I started the survey in 1993. I kind of, since Larry had already covered Illinois, I kind of branched out to looking at crayfishes and starting to look at shrimps a little bit more in some other states. We did a crayfish comprehensive survey of Kentucky. We're working in the state of Alabama now, and then just other various faunal and taxonomic revisionary work. The collection is entirely, for the most part, databased in a FileMaker Pro format. But again, when we first started talking about doing a TCN, I thought it would be a great opportunity. I'll be the first to admit our data can go much way beyond where we're at now for serving that data out on the web. We have an excellent database in FileMaker Pro, but you can search our database, but it doesn't include all fields, all the typical core fields, you have to contact me or another curator to get to that information. So it's going to be an excellent opportunity to get not just images of the specimens or attempt to do images of the specimens, but get the data associated with the specimens out. And part of this TCN will include two of the other larger collections of freshwater inverts, what Jim has at Carnegie, and then the collection at OSU has a significant holdings, around 10,000 lots of crayfishes and shrimp. So between those three collections, we can go a long ways in getting freshwater North American crayfish collections data up and on the web. That's it. Thank you.